Mr. Mfaku, thank you for being with us. You're not happy. Firstly, explain why.
Good evening. Could you perhaps rephrase your question? We're not happy about what?
About Afriforum going ahead or at least threatening a private prosecution here against Julius Malema.
No, we're not happy at all. We engaged with them. We responded to their letter that they wrote to us and advised them that we are considering the matter and a decision will be made before the end of October this year. They call a press briefing. They announce a private prosecution, being fully aware that they do not have the necessary non-prosecution certificate. We deem that conduct as very disingenuous and engaging with us in a very bad faith.
Afriforum, however, is suggesting that you're really dragging your feet on this issue, that it was struck off the roll because one of the defendants was sick and he's now well. Still nothing has been done since 2015. Why has it been off the court rolls for so long?
We have explained that the matter was struck off the roll in terms of a particular section of the Criminal Procedure Act, which requires that the Director of Public Prosecutions, before the matter is enrolled, must issue a certificate in writing authorizing the re-enrollment. Now that process entails that he must satisfy himself or herself about the prospect of success of the matter. Further to that, the team that was leading, the senior counsel that was leading the prosecution was a private senior counsel who was actually instructed to take the matter forward. But after the appearance, after the matter was struck off the road, the leadership of the NPA decided to terminate his mandate. And then a new team was assigned to the matter. That the team is now actually working on the matter, consulting with witnesses, has further directed investigators to conduct certain investigations. That is why it has taken this long. And you must recall that these prosecutors are always in court. One of them was actually in court for 4 months. Now we do not have the necessary resources to assign a prosecutor per one case.
Even if someone's left, don't you trust the decision at that time that there was evidence? It sounds very laborious that everything has to be re-looked at, even though at that time the NPA thought it had a strong case.
As I mentioned, it was a Section 38 appointment, a private counsel from the bar, not from the prosecution authority, that it was leading prosecution. Now his mandate was terminated after he engaged with the leadership of the NPA. A new prosecution was appointed to the matter. You cannot just take a matter, say it's ready, and go and prosecute. These new prosecutors must actually familiarize themselves with the merits of the matter and interrogate the merits and see whether there are prospects of a successful prosecution. Hence, they have directed investigations to be conducted. You cannot take a matter that is not fully investigated to court.
And were they doing that anyway, or was there only a flurry of activity when Afriforum made this inquiry in March, you say?
The Afriforum, we received their letter on the 19th. Already, that team was assigned immediately after the private counsel mandate was terminated. They have been working on the matter. In fact, the national director had a meeting with them as early as January, and imploring them to fast-track the matter so that there is finality as far as the matter is concerned. The team is not pushed by the letter that we received from Afriforum. We have been working on the matter.
Mm. All right, so you're not being pressured by Afriforum in this case because you keep on saying that we're not being pressured, but last year Afriforum did apparently inquire about Duduzane Zuma, the former President Jacob Zuma's son, and apparently that did change things. He is now being prosecuted.
They never changed things. I think you're giving them too much credit. The DPP, that is the Director of Public Prosecution in South Sudan, declined to prosecute. Remember, DPPs are semi-autonomous. They take their decisions. When they requested a non-prosecution certificate, they had to engage the head of prosecution, that is Advocate Mzinyati. That is when it was brought to the attention of the national director, and the national director had a look and intervened and said, let me review the matter. He looked at the matter. He gave them an opportunity to make representations. when they fail to do so, is that prosecution must be instituted. You must actually, there is no flip-flopping. People will need to educate the public that the national director reviews the decision was taken by the DPP. The national director changed the decision of the DPP on review.
Yeah. But that only happened after somebody requested a non-prosecution certificate.
They actually requested the knowledge prosecute certificate, and they actually know that the knowledge prosecute certificate is not granted willy-nilly. You need to satisfy the jurisdictional requirements that are outlined in Section 7 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Hence, the DPP had to consult his superior, that is Advocate Mzinyadi, to ensure that they comply with all the jurisdictional requirements that are outlined in Section 7 of the Criminal Procedure Act.
All right, Mr. Mfaku, are you going to wait still? I've heard August, you said October, until you give us your decision at least. Will there be any rush now given the publicity around this?
We're not going to give you the decision. A prosecutorial decision is communicated to the person who is the subject of our prosecutorial discretion. Now, if the prosecutors finalize the matter on or before the end of August, then they would advise the parties who are involved in the matter.
Can you give us finally, is there a, as you say, prima facie case against Julius Malema?
The prima facie case is only established on completion of the assessment of the matter. They will decide whether there is a prima facie case and whether there are reasonable prospects of success. That is our baseline in terms of our prosecutorial decision. That the prosecutors, once they finalize this process, then they would actually advise the leadership that we firmly believe there are reasonable prospects of success. If there are no prospects of success, they will say there are no prospects of success.
All right, thank you very much. That was spokesperson for the National Prosecuting Authority, Luvuyo Mfaku, saying they're not happy with Afriforum's announcement today, the threat that there could be a private prosecution if the NPA doesn't move on this. We'll speak to Afriforum a little later in the show.